everybody. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, and we are here in our Reckler Learning Studios. My name is Vanessa, and we are working on our micro training today. So, micro training session number 6. We are discussing descriptive feedback. This is something that I've been talking about all day, all week rather. And I wanted to just give you a short micro training here on how to use descriptive feedback. So a lot of teachers will write things in write comments in student work that is good job, needs more detail, be clearer, blah, 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 right? And yet the students are still continuing to make mistakes. The student didn't revise differently. Maybe they didn't think any deeper next time, or they ended up writing more, but not what you were looking for. So today we're going to simplify this. We're going to look at how to write descriptive feedback that keeps thinking with the student. Remember, we're in Finnish education, we want the student to have the ownership of the journey, of the learning journey. And so we need to support them and guide them without taking away that control, without saying, I know best, but giving them guidance to help them figure out what is best. So what is descriptive feedback? It is not about judging performance. So we're not really giving feedback on excellent work, or this is confusing, or you need to try harder, or this is great, or this is bad. We're actually describing the strategy that the students are using. We're observing how they're thinking, what we see as they're thinking, helping to support growth as it's happening, and supporting them in their next steps. So in Finnish education classrooms, feedback is treated as a learning conversation, even when you're writing comments on their paperwork, so that it protects the student's identity. It focuses on thinking, it focuses on the process, it reduces pressure, and it increases clarity. So what do students do? When we offer feedback that is descriptive, students will begin to recognize what strategies they're using, see how their thinking is changing, especially if you do a then and now kind of description, reflects on their next steps, and they're able to begin to revise independently. That last one is important, right? Because we want student agency, we want student autonomy in the classroom. We want the students to be able to improve their work on their own. Remember, we're building the foundation in Finnish education from day one, from pre-K to kindergarten to grade 1. We're giving them the kind of feedback that empowers them and gives them the tools to improve on their own. The goal is independence. Descriptive feedback builds that slow, calm, consistent learning. What are teachers going to listen for and look for? So before you begin writing feedback, take notice of what they are working on, how they thought through the work that you gave them. So instead of asking yourself the question, is this correct? Am I going to put a bunch of checks and X's, right? Am I going to write 100, or am I going to write something else? So instead of looking at it as right or wrong, ask yourself, what strategies did they use? Where did their thinking shift? Are they explaining or listing? Did they use evidence to support their decision or their answer? Did collaboration influence their answer? Hopefully, you are using group lessons in your class. You're using group activities, whether it's peer on peer, peer with peer, whether it's small group, 2 or 3 students, or whether it's larger groups. Hopefully there is collaboration going on in your classroom, and that will also influence your feedback. So we're listening for the evidence that students are using, the explanation. We're not just looking for the answer, we're looking for the explanation. We're looking for revision decisions and the influence of collaboration in their peers. And then mentioning to them, I really noticed after the group discussion, you changed your idea here, and pointing out where that idea is, because that helps the students to realize, oh, right, I listened really well, I learned from my group, and now I've changed my answer. And that's a process. That's allowed, right? That's what we want the students to do, so that there is growth over time. This connection is connected directly to our deep learning conversation that we had last week, because deep learning shows up in thinking, right? Not in answers, in neatness, in perfection. Okay, so the 3 points: what it is, what students do, and what teachers listen for. Next, let's talk about how to plan for tomorrow. So here is an easy structure that you can follow for your lesson planning for tomorrow. I noticed, blah, blah, blah. This shows, blah, blah, blah. Let's consider, blah, blah, blah. So that you can take the lesson, know where the students are at, understand, observe, and understand where they're at, so that tomorrow your lesson can pick up right where they're at and move them forward to the next level of learning. It's not longer, it's not louder. We're not looking for, just moving quickly through the lesson. We're looking for areas where we can help the students, support them in their learning, find out where they're at through observation, and then help them take the next step. In Finnish pedagogy, this is connected to this particular education system because teachers are trusted professionals. Students are active. Autonomy, agency is a big part of their learning journey. Assessment is formative. We're not comparing other students, and feedback protects the student. Learning becomes collaborative. So descriptive feedback supports all of that. It's not about rank. It's not about labeling. It's not about shaming or over-directing. It describes learning and it invites growth. So tomorrow, when you are lesson planning, well, today, when you're thinking about tomorrow and lesson planning, notice who revised independently, notice who changed strategy, notice who added evidence, and notice who borrowed a peer's idea. Now your feedback becomes instructional data. So it's not about grading or correcting. You're developing your plan based on these observations that you've made, and then you're planning for tomorrow, adjusting those learning stations that are in your class to help the students take the next step. Or if they're not ready to take the next step, maybe creating a more foundational station, going back to some of the basics to really shore up what it is that the concept that they're learning. So I would encourage you not to add more comments. That's not what this is about, writing more and more information. It's more about clarifying. It's more about noticing the shift in their learning. It's language. It's the way in which you're sharing your feedback. And sometimes the most powerful classroom changes begin with the way we choose our words. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming to our micro training. I hope it is helpful. As always, this is a global conversation, so please share your comments in the video, about this concept, about descriptive feedback, whether you use it, whether you don't use it, and how you found it to be helpful or unhelpful. Thank you so much. Have a great week.